Hi, you can hear me? Can you guys hear me?
April, I have a quick question. April, I can't see the questions. My Good evening. One more time with the volume on. Thank you for joining us this evening for our first live virtual dual credit information night. My name is Virginia Gilbo. I am the College and Career Readiness Specialist at Boswell High School. With us this evening, we have the College and Career Readiness Specialist from our district, from our other district campuses, and our TCC representatives who will all introduce themselves right now. We're going to start off with Melissa.
Hello, I'm Melissa Cordova, the College and Career Readiness Specialist at Chisholm Trail High School.
Good evening, I'm Kathy Bradshaw. I'm the College and Career Readiness Specialist at Saginaw High School.
Hi, this is Babita DeWare, Dual Credit Coordinator at the Northwest Campus.
Good evening. My name is Ebony Howard, one of the coordinators of Dual Credit at Northwest Campus.
Wonderful. We have great information for you this evening. Please mute your computers for this information. I want to encourage everyone to ask questions. For a live presentation such as this, the chat box is more of an area for you to submit your questions, not your normal chat box that you would have on a regular Teams meeting or Zoom meeting. So we'd like to encourage you to please submit questions on the right, and then our presenters will be answering your questions as we go through. In addition, we're going to be posting our presentation at a later date with these questions. So if you miss something or if you want to come back and reference something, it'll be available for you as well. So please ask questions. We're here to help. So moving along, we're going to go ahead and start with Mrs. Cordova from Chisholm Trail High School. Please begin.
Hello, as we get started tonight, one of the things that we'd like to do before turning the mic over to TCC to explain the dual credit process is give a brief overview of the EMS ISD advanced academics options. Advanced academics options are numerous in the district. We have 3 different options that are available for students: dual credit, advanced placement, and on-ramps. Tonight, our primary focus is dual credit, and so our dual credit coordinators and then our campus CCRSs are going to discuss in length dual credit benefits, an explanation of the program, and enrollment processes. So I'm going to talk more about AP and on-ramps really quick, where you know the difference between the options. AP courses are advanced placement courses, and these are college level courses that are offered in high school. They are taught by our high school teachers, and they award high school credit only. Students do have the opportunity to earn college credit through an AP course, but to earn the college credit, the students must take what is called an AP exam. The AP exams are normally given at the end of the year in May, and depending on the student's score and the college policy, the student could receive college credit for that course. AP courses and EMS ISD are open enrollment, so to schedule that course, when you are selecting courses with your counselor, you would let them know you're interested in advanced placement and register in that fashion. We do have 30 different AP course options that are available. As for on-ramps is dual credit, but on-ramps is through the University of Texas at Austin. On-ramps courses are college level courses that are offered in high school. They're taught by our high school teacher in combination with a University of Texas instructor. In on-ramps, the enrollment is dictated by telling your counselor that you're interested in the on-ramps course. The options are Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, and Chemistry for on-ramps. and sign up and pay your tuition. There is a tuition fee that is required as a part of the course. As students work through the course, they can accept college credit for that course. I do want to make a note that it would be really important for you to look for more information concerning all of our advanced academics options to be posted by your campus at a later date. So now we are going to proceed with discussing more about TCC in specific dual credit information, benefits, enrollment and requirements, etc. So now I'd like to pass the mic over to Babita DeWare and Ebony Howard, our TCC dual credit coordinators. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thank you and welcome to the information session for dual credit. Again, my name is Babita DeWare, and I'm a dual credit coordinator at the Northwest Campus at Tarrant County College. I'm joined by my colleague, Ms. Ebony Howard, who is also coordinator of dual credit. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to put them in chat and we'll answer it as we go along. You don't have to get permission or raise your hand. If something comes to mind, feel free to put it in chat so you don't forget. Dual credit is an opportunity to earn both college credit and high school credit by successfully completing a college course. In other words, you're taking a college class to satisfy high school graduation requirements. And the best person to tell you what those high school graduation requirements are is your high school counselor. Dual credit is, again, when you are taking college courses taught by college faculty that would be on a high school campus or on TCC campus. A dual credit student is both a TCC student and high school student. Therefore, you will be responsible for following the rules at both institutions, whether it be for attendance or something else. You'll earn both college and high school credit upon successful completion of the course. The benefits of dual credit include starting with reduced costs. By cost, we mean that tuition rate you'd be paying is more affordable than any other option you could find for a comparable college class. It's also time saving. Because you're taking it to work for both high school and college while still in high school, it's kind of double dipping. So you're saving time because you're taking a college class for college credit and high school to satisfy high school graduation requirement. So it saves you time. It also provides experience. You get the experience of taking a college course while in high school. I wish I had dual credit when I was in high school. You get to have the support of both schools. You have all the resources available to regular TCC students like the tutoring labs, writing center, and the library, to name a few. Due to COVID-19, TCC has moved those services online, but you can still schedule a time to pick up material from the library and return in their Dropbox on campus. Similarly, you have the support of your high school counselors and teachers. You get the experience of taking a college course while in high school. You get to engage with a college instructor and learn how to function in a college class. You become aware of the roles and responsibilities of a successful college student before you even graduate high school. Lastly, it confers college credit. I feel we've discussed that it does. However, I want you to know that it is a college class, so the grades will stay on your transcript forever. You need to earn a C or better to earn college credit, earn that credit. Now let's review the difference between dual credit and AP. Dual credit is taught by a college instructor. It has advanced college content and you need to earn a C or better. AP is taught by a high school teacher. It also has advanced content and you'll need to earn a 3 or better to get the college credit. Some items to consider as you're contemplating if dual credit is right for you. Are you academically ready? Your counselor can help determine if this would be an option for you. Having the maturity level and proactive mindset to attend and do well in class. If you are interested in dual credit, there are a few things you should consider. Are you academically ready, as I said? Are you responsible, able to advocate for yourself, able to manage your time? And are you a forward thinker? We recommend allowing at least 6 hours of study per class per week. Part of being a college student is advocating for yourself. Whether you're having issues with technology or something else, you need to be able to speak up and ask for help. And I think part of that maturity level is also recognizing when you need help. If you were to need help with online registration or etc., you, the student, needs to take the initiative and to request assistance. For example, on the college side, we can only share information about the student with the student or their high school counselor. If the student wants someone else to have access to their information, then they need to fill out what's called a FERPA form. It stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It is like the HIPAA form for your medical records, but for college. On the form, the student can designate whoever should have access to their college information. It is good for 12 months from the time it is submitted and can be revoked at any time. Remember, FERPA gives access to information only, not action. Only the student and their counselor can take action. While on the topic of communication, I want to share the preferred method of communication for students. It is to have students email us at NW, and again, we'll give you our contact information at the end of our presentation, but just for sharing now, it is NW as in Northwest dual credit at tccd.edu. And make sure you put your name and TCC ID number in subject. This applies to all communication at the college once you become a student. You must also consider prerequisites for college classes. For example, taking the TSI or having appropriate test scores that place you in college level courses, or the needed courses to advance to the next level of course. We recommend taking no more than 2 courses per semester, and 1 course usually is 3 credit hours. You must earn a C or better to earn the college credit and attend at least 85% of the class. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting dropped by your instructor for non-attendance. Attendance is mandatory at TCC, and your instructor could drop you. That doesn't mean they always will, but they could. So that goes back to my earlier point about having the maturity level and the communication skills to be able to recognize when you're going to be late for a class or need more help or are struggling. So you need to be on top of that. You do have the support at your high schools. So if in case of emergency, you're not able to get in touch with us at the dual credit office or your instructor at the college, then your counselor can loop us in such situations. Here are some items to consider about the courses themselves. These are examples of core classes that are transferable to universities under various pathways for various majors. The 4 digits next to the subjects are called course numbers. And remember, earlier I mentioned 1 course is typically 3 credit hours. If you look at the 2nd digit of the course number, you'll see how many credit hours the class is. That means this is how many credits you will earn on your college transcript. There's also such a thing as satisfying a category or a requirement. For example, the 3 courses you see listed at the bottom of the screen are satisfying a requirement in the same social and behavioral science category. in the list of core classes, meaning you would only need to satisfy one. You would only need to take one of these classes. Again, you will know which class is applicable to you by your counselor. And now Ms. Ebony Howard will continue the rest of the presentation. Ebony, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ware. When most people think of dual credit, they think of the courses that Mr. Ware just spoke of, your core classes, but there are other options. You may have interest in taking courses in a field that will lead to a career through a certification, so our career and technical programs, also known as CTE, may be a perfect fit for you. Students can take classes to be certified in culinary arts, radio, television broadcasting, welding, and more. If you decide to commit to one of these CTE programs, you will receive through the National Coalition of Certification Centers at a national signing day that takes place once a year on a TCC campus. This event is held amongst your peers, counselors, and family. Now, whether you participate in dual credit by taking core classes or CTE, you have access to resources to assist you in being a successful student. We have transfer centers at each campus where you can speak to an expert about your transfer options and our agreements with universities. This semester, we will actually have a virtual transfer fair in March to connect students with universities. We also offer tutoring services, access to learning labs, library services, and then there's student life. You will have access to join clubs and organizations to meet other students with like interests. You can also talk to a career counselor and participate in campus events. Attending TCC will give you an opportunity to attend college courses at an affordable rate. TCC offers smaller classes, credentialed faculty, and transferable credit, which is an investment in your future. The chart displayed compares the cost of tuition for 15 credit hours for 2 semesters at TCC to the cost of 15 hours for 2 semesters at universities. The chart is from 2018, and the tuition was lower then. The current tuition rate would increase the amount from $1,770 to $1,920, but it's still more affordable than attending a university. Tuition currently is $64 a credit hour, which totals $192 for a 3 credit hour class, such as government or English. Tuition can be paid through a payment plan, and eligible students can apply for a grant through financial aid. If awarded, the grant covers tuition and books. If you are interested in dual credit, there's a checklist of steps to take, which include applying to TCC, taking the TSI, and Title IX training. These are steps in addition to the steps from your ISD. The next available semesters are summer and fall of this year. Summer courses take place from June to August, and fall courses take place from August through December. If you decide to move forward and participate, your first step will be to speak to your high school counselor. If you have questions for our department, you can reach us through our office email, which Mr. Ware brought up earlier. It's nw-dualcredit@tccd.edu. Now, as a student, you will also have a TCC email address. The only difference in your email address and ours is yours will be at my.tccd.edu. This will be the email that we ask you to use when you are communicating with TCC for any questions. If you are sending us an email before you actually become a student, then you can use any email as far as for a Gmail or your ISD email. But when communicating with us, we prefer that you email us, especially during these times of COVID-19. And we have a staff of 3 full-time employees and 1 part-time. So we do our best to reply to you within 24 to 48 hours. And the staff includes 2 coordinators, which are Babita DeWare, myself, Ebony Howard, our office assistant, Shelly Piccolo, and our part-time office assistant, Robin Alexander. Time we'll take any questions that you may have for TCC and your dual credit concerns.
We do have some questions posted on the side, Ms. Babita. We'll begin at the top.
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Give me a minute.
I see, oh, there was one for AP. What is the deadline for AP exams? The next one.
Okay, I answered that one. What is the deadline to sign and pay up for dual credit classes? So some of these questions I believe Ms. Cordova is going to answer here in a minute. What can student, go ahead, I'm sorry.
We can speak a little bit to that. Your ISD will set deadlines that you have to meet, and then TCC will have some deadlines, and we try to work together. Always remember to ask, when is the first day I can sign up, and not when is the last day. When you wait till the last day, if you're signing up for courses that are not courses built for your school, you run the risk of those courses filling up. So always work with your high school counselor with any kind of deadlines or dates, because we work with them to set up things just for you.
Thank you. The next question is, do the students have to physically attend the college campus for classes?
No, especially now in COVID times. No, TCC has moved their classes online. So even the classes that you see right now, if you were to look at the class schedule, it will say the campus, it will have online options. So because of COVID, all the classes have been moved online. And like I mentioned earlier, the resources along with that have been moved online as well.
The next question is, where can we find the list of available dual credit courses?
That's a good question. And again, we want to say that your high school counselor is the best person to tell you which are the options for certain students. So if the student is interested and wants to get a list, the counselor would be a good starting point, because not all courses are applicable to all students. Again, it goes back to the high school graduation requirements, and it varies student by student.
I will piggyback on that a little bit. With your ISD, we have an agreement, and so we build courses just for EMS students. So you will have some courses that are built just for you, and then there are some courses that are traditional that you may want to enroll in. And so that's why it's important to always converse with your high school counselor. If the course is built for you, you will be able to view it on Web Advisor. It will have a notation that will say EMS, or it will say your particular school. So it may say Saginaw, or it may say Chisholm Trail. But if it is built for your school, it will be on Web Advisor, the site that we use for registration.
And here's another question. What grade can students start taking dual credit classes?
We can have students take courses as early as 9th grade, but that is not what we recommend. We normally start dual credit students with their junior year, which is what your high school will go with. If you are interested as a 9th or 10th grader, you must go through an interview process.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Babita.
Popping up.
Okay.
I've seen it maybe more than once, and it was about tuition, which was covered earlier, but I will tell you it's $64 an hour, and one class typically is 3 semester hours. So that's like your government course. So you're looking at $192 a class, and we are able to arrange payment plans online with a debit or credit card, or once again, you can apply for the dual credit grant. And if you're taking more than 3 hours, just multiply the 64 times times whatever amount of hours, so it would be 6 hours. And that's for Tarrant County residents currently. So if you live outside of Tarrant County, it will be different.
And I also want to piggyback on what Ms. Howard just said. is that you want to, again, think what's the earliest I can register rather than what the deadline is. And for all self-pay students, a good rule of thumb is be prepared to pay at the time of registration, so you don't run the risk of forgetting to pay and getting dropped for non-payment. So be mindful of that. And if you are considering applying for the dual credit grant, the sooner you apply, the better. So what's the earliest you can submit for it? Think that way.
And there was one other question about scholarships being available for dual credit classes.
We only have the dual credit grant currently. The dual credit grant, you will fill out the actual FAFSA form or application, and then you will do the grant, and it will cover fall and spring, 6 hours, tuition, and books. But if you don't qualify for the grant, then you would have to just either do a payment plan or pay in full. I think I saw a question also about, can you attend during the summer? Summer is an option. Once again, we always want you to speak with your counselor. During the summer, you are enrolled in a course for 5 to 6 weeks. In comparison to during the spring and fall, you're enrolled for 16 weeks. And so you're taking what you learn in 16 weeks and condensing that in a short amount of time. And so we are very careful as to what we take during the summer and how many hours we enroll in, but we definitely encourage you, if you need to make up hours, to take those summer courses. And you can apply for the grant by completing the FAFSA, which is the same FAFSA any college student would do, and the grant form can be found on our website.
I saw a question about the class times. So yes, you can take classes that don't interfere with your high school classes. And again, you will be working with your counselor to see which time your dual credit would happen. But since classes have moved online, they would be occurring what's called asynchronous. So that's not a designated time that you have to be present live for an online class. So it's flexible.
Keep in mind that dual credit is an extracurricular activity, just as if you were having football or cheerleading. And so you have to set aside the time to do the work and be successful in your dual credit course. Typically, when you're working with your high school, you're going to enroll in 1 or 2 courses during the day or afternoon while you're at school. And if you're trying to sign up for something outside of those hours, you have to have approval from your counselor. And at this time, due to COVID, everyone's working from home anyway. And so you probably can adjust your schedule, but make sure that you are setting aside the time needed for those courses.
There was a question about are credits accepted at major colleges? So we want to say yes, because most of the classes you'll be taking are core classes. They are transferable. And Ms. Howard mentioned we do have a transfer center, and we are planning for a virtual university fair with our transfer center for dual credit students in the next couple of months. So students who are in our system who have applied and have access to TCC email will get an email blast sent to them once the date is set for that event. So make sure that once you've applied and you have a TCC email account, you sync it to your phone so you get notifications right away that we're sending you something. We're trying to get in touch with you, and you'll be kept on top of all the communication and events that are happening.
Okay, let's thank you so much for answering those questions. Let's go ahead and transition now to Ms. Bradshaw. She's going to pick up this next half. And I believe she has some of the answers to the questions you all are asking.
Thank you, Virginia. And I want to say a special thank you to Babita and Ebony for all of that fabulous information that you shared. We're now going to talk about specific course options and specific enrollment processes for EMS ISD and what the campus's expectations are. Dual credit options at all of the campuses are geared primarily for the junior and senior level student. Traditionally, those courses are offered in the fall and spring, English 3, English 4, as well as U.S. History in the junior year, and then U.S. Government and Economics in the senior year. Typically, we try to offer courses one time slot in the morning from 8:35 to 9:55, and then again an afternoon option from 3:30 to 4:50. But again, enrollment numbers sometimes dictate what we're able to offer with an instructor on the high school campuses. During the school year, students would take courses at their home campus. In the summer, courses may be taken at TCC if they are holding face-to-face classes, or online options are always available. And again, we try to have an EMS ISD section, so all of our dual credit students in the summer are grouped into one class together. Classes during the school year meet 2 days a week, so an English class might meet on a Monday, Wednesday. A U.S. History might meet on a Tuesday, Thursday. There are no dual credit classes on a Friday. And so with that being said, it's important for students in their planning, working with their counselor and working, scheduling with their parents to understand that dual credit students are not on campus when their class does not meet because there is not an adult here to monitor those students. So if a student began dual credit in their junior year, they could have an opportunity to earn up to 24 college credits. And as we discussed and Ebony mentioned, freshman and sophomore students can take dual credit, but there are some extra steps with TCC that we first must meet. Those are our academic courses, and now I want to talk about some other options that we have with our Hollenstein Career and Technology Center. So some of those courses do have dual credit options, and they include automotive, computer maintenance, networking, and welding. Students interested in taking the dual credit options at HCTC do not pay a tuition fee like the academic courses do in dual credit, but those students must meet all of the enrollment requirements, processes, and steps, as well as TSI testing. They too have a January 29th deadline to turn in their application for EMS ISD. Two options that you have in the CTE realm of courses that are not held at HCTC are firefighter and aviation maintenance. Those are held on TCC campuses, firefighter at the Northwest campus through their fire technology program, and then the aviation maintenance at the Alliance campus. But please note, those do have a couple of other steps involved with enrollment, and those are tuition paid courses. So now let's talk about the full enrollment process and what we require at the district level. Parents and students, we want you to know that each college and career readiness specialist has a web page dedicated just to dual credit, and that can be found on the high school website under the college and career readiness page. On that page, you'll find the beginning students registration packet as well as returning students packet. So even for students who have done dual credit for 1 year, there are still steps that we require you to complete before you move on to the next year of dual credit. The EMS ISD dual credit handbook is found on that dual credit page. We highly recommend that students and parents take some time to read through the handbook because we feel like many of your questions may be answered in the handbook in regard to grading and attendance, and how our grades reported for dual credit compared to your high school 6 weeks grades. What's the difference in that? And there is a resource in that handbook for screenshots on how to access your web advisor and your MyTCC accounts and various other things that you will need as you work through the packet. But always remember, dual credit begins at the high school. I know Babita and Ebony mentioned earlier, talk to your high school counselor. You're talking to the college and career readiness specialist. We are so happy to help you through the dual credit enrollment and registration process. But if you just jump straight to TCC and register for courses and we don't know that that's your plan, we don't know how we best can help you. So always bring your questions to the campus CCRS first and start with us. So now let's look at some very specific steps that if dual credit is your option of what you're going to do. So again, if you go to that campus dual credit page for your home campus, whichever it be, you can download that enrollment packet, and it's multiple pages. But in that, we have provided resources with step-by-step instructions on how to complete the Apply TCC, as well as screenshots on how to complete the various steps in the enrollment process. One of the first things that you're going to need to do is you're going to complete your application to TCC, and that's through the Apply TCC link. And then you will receive, within 2 to 5 days, you should receive an email from TCC welcoming you to their campus. In that email, you'll have your TCC ID number as well as information on how to log into your web advisor. If after about a week that you feel like you have fully completed the Apply TCC and you have not received that email, please see your campus CCRS and we can help figure out where that email might be. One other step is you're going to need to submit the EMS ISD dual credit online registration form. And this helps us know that you're planning to do dual credit, what courses you're planning to take, as well as when do you plan to take those courses, in the summer or during the school year. Once you receive your TCC email with your ID and your web advisor login, you're going to need to create the pre-assessment activity, which has to be done before you can take the TSI, as well as the hashtag not anymore requirement, which is a video and some questions that's required by TCC. And then you will complete the TCC online readiness assessment that is often geared towards students taking online, but as a district, we require you to take that online readiness assessment because we never know, as we've seen this year, we don't know when all courses may need to move to an online only option. Okay, so now let's continue with the next steps. So once you have completed all of the pieces of the enrollment packet, you are going to print or email the student summary, and that is in your TCC web advisor. So that student summary is going to be sent to your campus CCRS, preferably if you can send that in an email. We need those no later than January the 29th. January the 29th, we need your student summary, and we need to make sure you have completed the EMS online registration form. So once those pieces of documentation have been completed, then we can move on to the final steps. And one of the final steps that we need to complete before we can actually enroll in classes with TCC is completing the TSI. And each campus will host a Saturday event for TSI testing. Boswell and Chisholm Trail will host theirs on February the 20th. Saginaw will host on February 5th. And so if you're planning to do dual credit, again, you must complete the TSI and you'll have to come to campus on one of those Saturdays to complete your TSI. And then Ebony and Babita mentioned the FERPA form, which allows, say, your parent to talk on your behalf with TCC and not just a CCRS or a campus counselor. If you're taking classes on a TCC campus, and that is even the firefighter or the aviation maintenance, you would need to complete and send in your meningitis vaccination record and a minor consent form. So once we've completed all of the steps, you have submitted your student summary and the EMS ISD enrollment form to your CCRS, then you're one step closer to self-registering for the TCC courses. So letting your high school counselor know, putting the dual credit into your schedule request for the upcoming school year is not the last of the steps. You must actually register for the courses through TCC, and we have to do that for each semester. So in the spring, we register for summer and fall courses, and then in mid-fall, then we have to register for spring. So it's kind of an ongoing process. Once you've registered for those classes, then you'll need to take care of the tuition payments for all academic as well as aviation and maintenance. But the HCTC classes, again, are not charged a tuition. Dual credit students are responsible for purchasing their textbooks. Economics is a TCC plus, so your book and your tuition are all together in that one fee. Okay, now I'm going to turn the presentation back over to Melissa to talk to you about some general need to knows.
Thanks so much, Kathy. We do know that the dual credit enrollment process can be overwhelming. There's a lot of resources and there are a lot of steps, but please know that your campus CCRSs and the TCC dual credit team are here to help you. Please let us know if you have questions as you're working through the process, but also please know that the resources that are available to you, we've worked hard to try to include step-by-step instructions where you can follow those to get those steps complete in a timely manner, and also to start those now because that deadline of January 29th will be coming up soon. So as I transition, we wanted to just give you a heads up of some need to knows for dual credit and some frequently asked questions that come up as we have students that are beginning the dual credit program. First of all, and this was mentioned by Babita, that you must earn a C or higher in each course attempted to remain eligible for dual credit coursework. If you receive a D or an F in your course, you're no longer eligible for dual credit courses within the subject area of failure throughout high school. And by scoring a D or an F, you don't receive high school credit for that course and will have to recover that credit to earn that high school credit. One other item that we need you to know is that you must follow TCC's academic standing and all other policies and regulations outlined in the TCC catalog. As a dual credit student through TCC, you are a TCC student and you must follow their rules and their guidelines as it relates to coursework. Another thing we want to address, and this was addressed earlier, is the use of TCC email. As you begin your enrollment process and go through the steps after you complete your application, you will receive information from TCC with your instructions on how to set up your account. You will have that account that you will need to communicate with offices at TCC and with your instructors once you start your course. You cannot use those personal and EMS email accounts to communicate with instructors as they are looking for that TCC email account. So please make sure that you are using that information. As we transition, more need to knows, dual credit grade reporting, and I believe this will address several questions regarding GPA and grades for dual credit. First of all, attendance and grades are not posted in Skyward at any time during a student participating in a dual credit course. Skyward is an EMS ISD program. What students in dual credit courses will need to do is they will need to check their TCC system, which is called My TCC, to see their grade. Parents can ask students to log in and look at their grades and keep up with their grades through the My TCC account, but at no time will you see a grade in Skyward through Family Access or Student Access for 6 weeks grades or for 3 weeks grades progress reports for dual credit. The final semester grade will be posted on the high school transcript at the conclusion of the student's course. Classes on the EMS ISD campus, a numeric grade that we receive from the instructor will be posted. For example, if a student scores a 97 in the class, a 97 will be posted as their semester grade on their high school transcript. If a student receives a 14 in a class, the 14 will be recorded as the numeric grade on the high school transcript. We must record the numeric grades we receive. If a student takes classes on a TCC campus, that student must submit their official TCC transcript to the high school after completion of the course. Most of these classes would be something that you're taking that may be outside the scope of the sections that Ms. Bradshaw had mentioned that we build specifically for EMS ISD students. And so basic rule of thumb is if we don't receive your numeric grade from the instructor, you must submit an official transcript, and that grade will be converted and posted on the high school transcript. And you see the conversion on the screen. Your grade affects both your high school and your college transcript. So it is very important that you do well in your course, that you monitor your grades. If you're struggling in a class, you seek help. Tutoring services from TCC, you speak with one of your college and career readiness specialists on your campus to see what a good plan of action will be, because that grade not only is going on your high school transcript, it's also going on your college transcript. Another reminder, there is no communication with parents concerning course progress. And we have FERPA highlighted again, that FERPA form that's a part of the dual credit enrollment process. If you know, is very important to turn into TCC for parents to have any sort of communication. But again, our instructors are not communicating with parents concerning course progress. And we may not know how a student's doing until we get the final grade at the semester. So it's really, really important for students to continue to check their grades and make sure that they're keeping on track. As for GPA, I know an important question is how courses are weighted for dual credit and advanced academics options. For GPA, pre-AP, or now the pre-AP courses will now be called advanced courses. Dual credit courses and on-ramps courses are weighted 5 points. Advanced placement courses are weighted 10 points in regards to GPA calculation. That calculation is done on the back end of the transcript. So on the transcript, the grade would be posted as whatever grade they get, a 90 or a 100 in the course. And then a 5 extra weighted point in GPA purposes, that would be a 105 is being used to calculate that GPA. So moving forward, we also wanted to let you know that TCC has a Student Accessibility Resources Office. And this is for students who maybe have a 504 plan classified as special education, and you are looking and seeking accommodations for any of your TCC classes. Those accommodations have to be approved through the Student Accessibility Resource Office. And so you would have to communicate with that office in order to potentially receive accommodations in courses. And so we wanted you to have that information to know that that looks a little bit different than what it looks like on your high school campus. And we definitely can help you through that process. Just know it's a little different. Some factors to consider in whether you want to participate in dual credit or which type of advanced academics options to participate in. Look at your long-term goals, your strength in the subject area, learning styles and environment, college policies. If they take the courses, check with your school of choice or your college of choice to make sure that the credit that you're looking for is transferable. Please note that students can take all of these options. You can take a dual credit course and an AP course and an on-ramps course, okay? Or you can focus on one or two. It is really up to you and what you can handle through that. And know that they don't build on each other. You don't have to be in all of them. You don't have to take AP to participate in dual credit, okay? So they are their own independent programs. We have some important dates that we want to review with you really quick. January 29th is that deadline for completing your enrollment steps and providing documentation to the campus CCRS. For students who complete their steps by January 29th, mark your calendars for the TSI testing that will be on either February 20th or February 27th for Saginaw High School. After TSI testing and after you complete enrollment steps and you qualify for dual credit based on TSI or other scores, you would have to register for those courses Those deadlines are going to be sent and instructions will be sent by your campus CCRS. So you will just continue to check your email, check the website, and we will have that and guide you through that process. And once you register, that payment for course is available, and it is suggested that you go ahead and set up your payment plan for your course or pay in full at the time you register. So you're locked into that class. The last thing here before we go into the Q&A session is our contact information. Again, like Ms. Bradshaw said, and I know that our TCC dual credit coordinators had mentioned this as well, your first step is the high school campus, and we are your first point of contact at the campus. And so please reach out to us via email. If you have specific questions that you'd like us to answer, if your student needs help through the process as you're going through the instructions and reading the steps and following those, just keep us updated. And then we also have the TCC Dual Credit Office email posted again, that way that's there for your convenience. So now we are going to transition back and look through our questions and see if there are any other questions to answer.
We do have quite a bit, so let's start at the top. What grade do you have to be in to start taking dual? Well, the question says dual language classes, but I'm wondering if they're meaning to say dual credit. Melissa, can you answer that one for us, please?
The primary grade level that we're looking at is junior and senior year, okay, to take dual credit. There are options available for a student that may be on a track to take a course as a sophomore, but my recommendation for that question would be to talk to your campus designee and really get which class you need to take, and then they can guide you best, because TCC will have some additional requirements for 9th or 10th grade students to be able to say that you're qualified for dual credit, but you would still have to meet all the enrollment steps in that. Hopefully that answered that.
Thank you. The next question has to do with the weight of the classes. Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes, the GPA weight for dual credit classes, on-ramps classes, and pre-AP, or now what is called advanced classes, is a 5 extra points to the course grade. And then for AP, it's a 10-point weight.
Thank you. The next question is, if you have already taken the TSI exam and passed, you need to take the TSI exam again. So once you've taken it and met the requirements, they should be good for that particular subject, because the TSI is 2 subjects. So you wouldn't have to take it again, and the TSI score is good for 5 years. Ms. Cordova, does that sound correct?
You are correct.
Okay. Next question is, the January 29th deadline is for dual credit for the fall?
For summer and fall. So if you're interested in taking a class for the summer or the fall, you need to complete the enrollment steps that Ms. Bradshaw outlined by January the 29th. Make sure, when you complete the online form that Ms. Bradshaw had referenced for us, one of the questions asks you when you plan to take your class, summer or school year, and so you'll answer that appropriately and let us know which classes you're interested in taking.
Very good. The next one is, how does the scheduling of the dual credit courses work with the scheduling of the rest of high school classes? Does the AM class option become first period?
Yes, AM classes are scheduled 8:35 to 9:55. So those do start a little bit before school begins and goes into first period. And then 8th period starts at 3:30 and they go until 4:50, I believe. So those to account for that two day per week meet time. So When you complete the online form that Ms. Bradshaw had referenced, you would select your time preference, and keep in mind activities that you participate in. If you have basketball practice after school and you are on the basketball team, and first period's the period you would need to select for dual credit, because that's the only option you might have to participate there.
Okay, next question. Let's give this one to Ms. Bradshaw. Let me see the next one here. Give me a minute. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties on my end. How long does a test take to apply on February 20th? So this person is asking about the TSI on February 20th.
The TSI typically takes for the reading and writing section, which is the section required for dual credit. A student would only need to take the math portion if the course that they are wanting to take for dual credit requires the math. The reading and writing portion, I would allow at least 2 hours to take that test. It could take up to 3.5 to 4 hours. It just depends, because the TSI is testing a student's ability and where they are with college readiness. So there are a set number of questions for each section. A student needs to get a certain number of those questions correct. And if they don't, it takes them to another test. It kind of balloons out to a second test. Again, testing their ability. So it's not every student taking TSI doesn't take a 24 question test. It can be different depending on the number of questions that you get right in that first portion of the test, and how long it takes you to do your essay on the writing, and various things like that. But a minimum, I would say, is about 2 to 2.5 hours.
Thank you. This next question might be best for Babita or Ebony to answer, and the question is, do I set up my own email for TCC?
Once you apply to TCC,
Go ahead, Ebony.
apply to the school, you'll be assigned a TCC ID number and also a TCC email address. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, ma'am. The next question is, do over the summer classes count for the next year of school or for graduation? Mrs. Bradshaw?
So when you take a course in the summer, typically, yes, you are taking that for the next school year to meet a specific graduation requirement. So if a student is currently a sophomore and they were going to take English 1301 and 1302, which is composition and composition 1 and composition 2, they are taking that to satisfy their English 3 credit in their junior year. But taking a class in the summer, we have to remember we have to have a full schedule. Only as a senior are we eligible for potential early dismissal or late arrival. So those factors also have to be considered when working with your counselor, with your CCRS on your schedule, that when you take classes in the summer, they are going toward the upcoming school year to satisfy certain graduation requirements. But what are you going to put in place of that course in the true school year for you to have an 8-period school day or a 7-period school day if you're a senior?
Thank you. The next question asks, what do I need to do to register for summer school dual credit classes? Miss Melissa, would you like to answer that one?
Yes, you would like, or you need to follow the dual credit enrollment steps that Ms. Bradshaw outlined in the video. Okay, so all of those steps would apply, and when you're completing your online form, you would, you know, designate that you are interested in summer. But no matter when you want to take your classes, summer or fall, you have to complete all of the enrollment steps that were outlined tonight, starting with the application and going through submitting that student summary, and then TSI testing as well.
Okay, thank you. Next question will be for Ms. Bradshaw. How long does the TSI exam take, which you kind of already overviewed a little bit? And can a Boswell student take the TSI test at Saginaw?
Yes, again, about 2 to 2.5 hours minimum to plan for that test. Yes, another student, be Boswell or Chisholm Trail, if you needed to test on the Saginaw campus on February the 27th, that is absolutely fine. You're going to let your CCRS know on your campus that you're needing to test with us. So then I will have you on my list, and I can let you know as to which door to enter, and make sure we have everything in line for you to do that test. Absolutely.
We will also provide information to students who can't take the TSI on their testing date on how to take the test through TCC, because TCC does have a testing center and are able to test. But like I said, we're going to try to get the majority of people, but if there is a conflict or student needs to retest, we're going to give you instructions on how to complete that through TCC.
Okay, well, thank you for answering that question, Ms. Cordova. It is 7:32, and I want to respect everybody's time. We hope this evening's presentation has been very informative and helpful. I'm going to continue answering the questions here, but I want to go ahead and close the session. You can still see the questions and answers on our website. Thank you to our TCC partners for being here with us this evening. We're very grateful for their assistance. We're also very grateful to Ms. April Dunning and the rest of the EMS ISD Technology Department for helping us set this live event. We thank you for joining us this evening. Please reach out to your campus CCRS if you have additional questions. That's Melissa Cordova at Chisholm Trail High School, Kathy Bradshaw at Saginaw High School, and I am Virginia Gilbo at Boswell High School. This concludes our presentation. Thank you all and have a nice evening.